If you can't be trusted with your own decision making because you have limiting beliefs, that is very hard for you to push through and push past. Like you got stories in your head telling you stuff like, you're not good enough for this, you're not smart enough, it's too hard, it costs too much, you're too old, all of these things, you don't have enough education. I mean, the stories, right? The stories we tell ourselves that inevitably talks us out of taking action and really pushing through and doing hard things. For you guys who are already stained, for those of us who already have damage, emotional scars, right? Who already have scars on our ego and on our self esteem and on our confidence. Here's the next solution.
Optimal health is not a privilege, it's a right. However, unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of health challenges today can be attributed to lifestyle. This includes our physical activity, the quality of our relationships, stress, purpose and fulfillment, and of course, our diet. But what if there was an alternative? What if we could prevent and combat these health challenges with lifestyle changes before pills and procedures? You are listening to the Plant Protocol Podcast with yours truly, plant-based health and business coach, and now the forever voice in your head, Lisa A. Smith. It's time to come get this health.
And so I want to talk about decision making today. And I want to talk about one of the top causes as to why a lot of us is not where we want to be. And a lot of it comes down to decision making. So let me tell you guys a short story. So for those of you who don't know, so I run a coaching company and we have three programs at my coaching company. And one is a health coaching program, one is a business coaching program, and one is a personal development coaching program. So we only have three offers, three programs. And in my personal development coaching program, which is actually a mastermind, I run a mastermind called Clarity. Okay. And for Clarity, I record a private podcast for those clients, right? So they get a monthly podcast. And I recently told them a story that I'm going to tell you guys, right? And it's a very brief story, but I think it's going to be a great segue into today's topic. So I've been going to the gym for years. I've down over 60 plus pounds. I'm at a healthy weight. I am not a stranger to exercise. All right. Me and exercise are best buds. I exercise a lot. Matter of fact, I'm coming from the gym right now. So I exercise a lot. I love exercising. And so I'm not a stranger to cardio. I'm not a stranger to running. I'm not a stranger to the treadmill. However, I recently had an incident. We'll call it an incident, and I was running on a treadmill and I actually missed a step. I was trying to jump off to rest and I missed the step and I fell, right? And I fell on a treadmill and it was shocking AF. Has anybody ever failed before? Like, you know how you shock yourself when you fall? You like, what just happened? Okay. Like, what just happened? Right. Like, it's always shocking to fall. I remember I was in my other office. I have two offices. I was in my other office several months back and I leaned back in the seat thinking I was being cool and I went too far back and I fell, right? So I don't fail a couple times this year. That's neither here nor there. It's probably safe to say I need supervision, but let's not get off on a tangent. And so I fell in the gym and I shocked myself. Okay. Shocked myself, y'all. I was looking like, what just happened? Right now, the most important thing was I had to look around and see who saw, like, now, wait a minute now. So before I even looked at myself to see if I was bruised or cut or bleeding, I had to look around because y'all know that ego be like, y'all ain't about to embarrass me. So luckily I was in the gym by myself, but I did fall. Falling is just like, this is childish. You're like, how do you not grow out of falling? Like falling as an adult is like one of the biggest hits to the ego you could ever take. So I fell and I was shocked and I fell, whilst running, like I was coming off of a sprint on the treadmill and I fell and it was a whole thing, got the bruises to prove it, right? And one of the things that I knew for certain, even though I'm not a stranger to exercise, even though obviously this was like my billionth time in the gym or whatever, because of the way I fell, because I was doing a run at an incline and, the circumstances of what it was, I knew like immediately when I fell that I was going to have to run again really soon. Because when you have an unexpected event occur, like falling on the treadmill, right? It can scare you and scar you to a point where you might make a rash decision in that moment. And usually, the rash decision that we make in that moment is, I'm never doing that again, right? So, have you guys ever had something unexpected or uncomfortable or something that just didn't feel good happen to you? Like maybe you tried to create content online for your business and you tried to go live or tried to do a video and nobody showed up or you did it wrong. Like, I remember when I first started going live here on Instagram, the very first time I had no idea that your phone had to be in portrait. And so I turned my phone sideways in landscape mode. Like, it's still on my feed and Instagram. You would have to go far, far back. It was years ago. But my very first live on Instagram was in landscape mode. So the whole video, I'm like this. Right? I had no idea until I watched it afterward. I was like, oh my God. And so when you have embarrassing stuff like that happens, it can be very common. It's human nature to just be like, I'm never doing that again. It's human nature to be like, that was so embarrassing, or that hurt so bad, or I was so self conscious. I'm never doing that again. Maybe you have your first speaking engagement, or maybe you have your first sales call, or you pitch yourself for the first time in front of a panel of people, or whatever it is. And if it doesn't go well, we usually make a decision from that occurrence, right? And so I knew when I fell on the treadmill that I was going to have to run again really, really soon. I knew because I know how the human brain works. The human brain takes a circumstance or a situation, and if it didn't go the way we planned, we start telling ourselves stories about why we have to avoid that situation at all costs again. I remember I had a friend who, when he was really younger, he had like some green peppers and he threw up afterwards and he had ate other stuff, but he attributed getting sick to the green peppers. To this day, he doesn't eat green peppers to this day. And so this is very common for us. Have any of you guys experienced that where you had an experience and from that experience, you made a decision? You had an experience, and from that experience where it didn't turn out ideal, you made a decision, and maybe you've never tried that again. You never went back again. You never ran again. You never ate green peppers again, whatever it is. I want to talk about decision making today. And I want to give you guys a very, very simple analogy of why your decision making ability might be hindering your progress towards your goals, whether that be in health, business, relationships, finances. Decision making is one of the most effective tools you can use to ascend towards your goals as quickly as possible. However, for a lot of us, our decision making has been compromised. So let me tell you what I mean. So I told you guys that I'm drinking this tea, and I told you I mixed peach ginger with turmeric ginger. Right now, let me tell you guys, I love turmeric. I love turmeric. You know, it's very prominent in Indian cuisine, but also it's very medicinal. And so I use turmeric all the time. Now, I like to make smoothies. I drink almost a smoothie almost every single day. And I do what I season my smoothies. And so what I used to do is buy the powdered turmeric, right? So I season my smoothies with like cinnamon and powdered ginger and turmeric, right? Very medicinal properties in all of those seasonings. And so I used to buy the powdered turmeric and season my smoothies with the powdered turmeric. But there's this market I go to now, and they actually, because sometimes it's very hard for me to find the fresh turmeric that you peel yourself. But this particular market, they have it in abundance, right? It's an Asian market, and they have the turmeric in abundance. So now when I use turmeric, I peel it myself. But those of you who know anything about turmeric, what do we know for sure? Turmeric stains the heck out of everything, right? Like one of the benefits of using the powder turmeric is that you don't stain your fingers, your countertops, your knives, and your cooking utensils. Turmeric stains everything. And so now, because I still want to continue I prefer to still peel my turmeric and use my fresh turmeric. I now wear gloves. Okay. So I wear gloves in the kitchen when I'm making my smoothies, when I'm cooking anything that requires me to use turmeric, because I got to peel it, cooking. You might have just, especially if my nails are white, if I have a white manicure that week, oh my God, my whole manicure is stained from the turmeric if I don't wear gloves? And for a lot of us, our decision making is the same way. You've had a bad experience. You had something that didn't go as planned, that didn't turn out ideal. You bombed on stage. You failed at the sales call. You bombed the pitch. You went live and turned your camera the wrong way. You got on a treadmill, ran, and embarrassed yourself, whatever it is. And because of that, going forward, all of your decision making in that arena has been stained. It left a stain. And now you can't be trusted with your own decision making. I want you guys to listen very closely. Like, just like turmeric, if I don't wear gloves, right, everything I touch. And here's the thing, if I have white countertops and the turmeric gets on the white countertop, and you have to wipe it up really quickly. And even when you wipe it up really quickly, sometimes it still leaves a residue, right? And it leaves this residue and it causes things to look rusted. It causes things to look stained. It disrupts the perfection and the purity of the countertop. It disrupts the perfection and the purity of my white manicure. It stains things, right? And everything it touches thereafter is going to be stained. And for a lot of us, our decision making is the exact same way. The primary reason you can't be trusted to make good decisions for yourself that allows you to continue to progress towards your goals is because every time something happens that doesn't turn out ideal, if you haven't mastered things like emotional intelligence, if you don't have a good system for recovery, your decision making going forward has been stained with past experiences. It's just like a relationship. I have a client in our mastermind, and she often talks about, a previous marriage that was just like not good. It was not a healthy relationship. And she often talks about how much damage her belief in herself and her confidence took from that relationship. Like, she took a lot of hits in that relationship. And so now she's extremely, extremely weary and cautious of dating again. It's been years since she's been out of that marriage, but because it left such a big stain on her confidence, since it left such a big stain on who she is as a person, she has a difficult time sometimes making decisions about future relationships. So, what I want to share with you guys is two ways to become a better decision maker when you have been using turmeric. When you have stayed, because I'm gonna tell you right now, like those of you who have tried to lose weight over and over again, and maybe it hasn't went well, those of you who have tried running a business and you have maybe failed, or you've had a failed business, or you didn't get sales before, or you had some embarrassing moments. Maybe those of you who have tried to be speakers, a lot of you guys want public profiles and personas, but you're like not taking action because you are so fearful. You're so fearful because you're self-conscious about, well, it didn't go well before, or I don't like the sound of my voice, or I don't like the way that I look, or whatever it may be. Your decision making is stained with all of this lack. Your decision making is stained with past failures. Your decision making is stained with a fear of public humiliation. Your decision making is stained because you bombed before, you stuttered before, you messed up before. And now it's very challenging to make a different decision. It's very challenging to make a different decision. And let me tell you something, one of the primary things you have to work on in order to start really hitting significant milestones in your goals is you have to improve your decision making. But if you have these past experiences, bad relationships, you took a fall before, you cooked something before and it didn't turn out, like we have people say that all the time in Farm to Table, our plant-based coaching program. Like, I tried plant-based before. I tried to cook those meals. They didn't taste right. I've never tried again. Like, now their decision making is stained. Can anybody relate to this? Right? You've had a past experience, and that past experiences is now influencing future decisions. Past experiences is now influencing future decision making. And that's a lot of us. Like, we're wallowing in past failures. We're wallowing in past embarrassments. We're wallowing in past times where we bombed and things didn't turn out right. And I see it all the time. I had someone tell us, one of our students in Farm to Table, we were talking recently about her goals and what her assignment is. And she was saying, I really have a hard time giving 100% to what I'm doing because I don't have a guarantee that it's going to work out for me. Right? When we have a history, like we all do, of things not working out, It's very challenging sometimes to will ourselves and coach ourselves through the next thing. So there's one thing I want to tell you to do to avoid a stain. And there's something I want to tell you to do if you have already been stained and now it's influencing how you make decisions going forward. And so, first things first, when I fell on a treadmill, y'all, when I fell on a treadmill, when I was reflecting on it later that day and later on that week, here's the first decision I knew I had to make. I said, as soon as I can, like as soon as my knees stop bleeding, as soon as I can, I have to run again. I have to run quickly as soon as I can. Anytime you have something that didn't go the way you intended it for it to go, this is the last thing you want to hear when you've had a bad experience or where you took a great fall. But you have to get up and run again as quickly as possible. If you are trying to sell a product or service in the marketplace and you're hearing no after no after no, you have to make another offer as quickly as possible. If you get the opportunity to speak in front of people and you fumble or you embarrass yourself or it doesn't go good, you have to get up and take another speaking gig or create a speaking opportunity for yourself as quickly as possible. As soon as something doesn't work out, you have to get up and you have to do it again as quickly as possible because you know one of the number one things that increases your chances of not returning to that thing, that activity again is time. The longer you have to deliberate, think through, and replay the thing that didn't go good the first time, the more likely you are to make decisions that causes you not to return to the thing. I've had it happen for our clients in our business coaching program over and over again. I'll say, listen, I need you to create content online. If people need to know about your business, they need to know what you're doing, they need to know what you sell, they need to know what you specialize in. I need you to consistently create content online. And you know what happens? They'll do what I said the first time. And if they go live or if they create a video and nobody shows up, nobody likes it, they don't get any engagement, I can tell you this has happened over and over again. They turn the camera off and they don't go live again for months. As soon as you have something turn out completely different than what your expectations were, you have to get up, like you have to plan to do it again as quickly as possible. Let me tell you guys something. When we did the first 30-day vegan salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, it was overwhelming because it was our first time doing the challenge. We were building everything from scratch for the first time. So I was building out the challenge portal. I was building out all of the digital assets. I was building out how class was going to flow. There were so many decisions I had to make. And there were so many things that had to be executed on. But you know what I did when that challenge ended? That first vegan challenge ended within 2 weeks. I am so proud of this. Within 2 weeks, after all of the overwhelm and hard work and everything that we went through using different systems and CRMs, and we had so many customer service issues. I can't get into the portal. Lisa, how do I upgrade to VIP? Where can I find the replays? It was so much, right? But guess what? 2 weeks after that challenge ended, guess what I had up online, ready to go? The registration for our next challenge within 2 weeks. Because let me tell you what happens when you do something hard, when you experience something uncomfortable, when something difficult occurs, if you don't take action as quickly as possible, most of us are not personally developed enough to push ourselves through the voice in our head and the narrative in our head that's telling us, never do that again. When things turn out very different from what we imagine in our mind, many of us have a tendency to shut down. Maybe we will come back to it, but it's going to be a while. And what does that mean? That means we delay the win, we delay the goal even further because now we got to sit in our feelings for 6 months. We got to sit in our feelings for weeks. We got to sit in our feelings. The best thing you can do when you fall on the treadmill is put gym run again on your schedule for the following week as quickly as possible. I knew I had to. I said, because this treadmill will all of a sudden develop more power over me than I have over it. Because I mean, if you fall, you're gonna do some things different next time you walk in that gym. You're like, maybe I should just stick to the stationary bike. Maybe I should just do the elliptical. You know what? Maybe I should just go walking around the track. I'm like, no, Lisa, you're running again. You're not going to let this fall convince you that it's not safe. And many of us, we've had that experience. We have a bad relationship, we have a bad marriage. All of a sudden, relationships and love ain't safe no more, right? We tried cook our first plant-based meal. We tried Lisa's 30-day vegan challenge, and it goes crazy because you don't know how to grocery shop, you don't know how to cook. None of your friends want to eat that way. Your spouse don't want to eat that way, and you like forget the whole lifestyle. I try and reverse this diabetes another way, or maybe I just continue to take the medication. No, 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 no. The best thing you can do for yourself if you fumble on our first challenge is sign up for the next one as soon as the registration page goes up. I promise you, if you want to avoid the stain that comes with turmeric and disappointment, is you have to schedule to do it again. It is nothing like being rejected. It is nothing like being embarrassed. There's nothing like your ego taking a public hit. And some of us, we're not where we want to be because we don't have the muscle recovery. We don't have the emotional recovery skills. So, tip number one is move with speed, or the residue of that first failure will set in and convince you to never try again. It will set in and it will convince you to never try again. So, the best thing you can do for yourself to increase your chances of success, even though that first, second, or third attempt didn't turn out the way you wanted to, is schedule the next attempt as quickly as possible. So, how do I avoid being stained by turmeric, right? I'll wipe it quickly. Like I got to rinse my knives and my countertop off quickly. If I let it sit, it's going to cause a permanent stain. And you look up and you haven't tried again. Your assignment is on the shelf. And now you're saying stuff like, Lisa, I don't know my purpose. I don't know what I'm called to do. Lisa, I don't know what God wants me to do. I don't know what my gift is. No, no, no. The problem is you tried years ago and it didn't work out and you decided that it wasn't for you because you thought it was supposed to be easy. So you tried once, it didn't work out. And so you let that first iteration stain you. So that's the first thing. Here's the second thing I need you to do. If you are listening right now and you've already been stained, right? Like you like, man, it's too late for me. I've been sitting in this last disappointment for 6 months, 7 months, 8 years, Lise. Like I'm already damaged. Okay. Here's the next solution. If you can't be trusted with your own decision making because you have limiting beliefs, that is very hard for you to push through and push past. Like you got stories in your head telling you stuff like, you're not good enough for this, you're not smart enough, it's too hard, it costs too much, you're too old, all of these things, you don't have enough education. I mean, the stories, right? The stories we tell ourselves that inevitably talks us out of taking action and really pushing through and doing hard things. For you guys who are already stained, for those of us who already have damage, emotional scars, right? Who already have scars on our ego and on our self esteem and on our confidence, you have to outsource your decision making. You're going to have to own the fact that because you're not quite healed yet from that first failure, that first fall, you're going to have to employ someone to make decisions for you. So I'm going to give you an example, okay? In our business accelerator, we have, I teach our students want to become coaches, right? They want to start their own coaching business or they want to add a coaching offer into a business that they already run, right? Or a practice that they already run. We also have doctors and healthcare providers in my coaching certification, my business accelerator. And so I tell them, well, I teach you guys an organic marketing strategy and I teach you guys how to create effective content online in order to market yourself as a coach, right? And so what happens is a lot of people come in to the business accelerator and they're super intimidated by creating content, super intimidated. And so recently, in a couple months ago in October, I told all of our clients in the business accelerator, I said, here's what we're about to do. You guys are about to do 30 days of straight content every single day for 30 days. We're going to start together. We're going to end together. At the end of the 30 days, a lot of them came back and said, oh my God, I'm so glad you made us do this. I'm so glad you pushed us to do this. I'm so glad you gave us, this assignment. You want to know why? Because they couldn't be trusted with their own decision making. They needed a coach. They needed somebody in their life who hasn't had their experiences, right? So they don't have the residue of those past failures or those past embarrassments or those past insecurities that's stopping us from making decisions. So if you can't be trusted with your own decision making, If you're in a season where you got goals, but you don't have a whole lot of momentum, but you got a whole lot of goals, but you don't have a lot of momentum, you have a whole lot of effort, but you don't have a lot of results, you have a whole lot of good intentions, but you don't have a whole lot of impact, it's suffice it to say, you probably can't be trusted with your own decision making right now. It's not going to be like this forever. But what you need is to outsource your decision making to someone who you trust, right? Somebody you believe in, right? Outsource your decision making, allow them to tell you what to do what you're told, collect receipts to defend the limiting beliefs you've been telling yourself. And then as you get new receipts and new experiences, you then slowly can be trusted with your decision making again. Let me say that again. If you have had bad experiences and past experiences that has been keeping you from making better decisions going forward, you probably can't be trusted with your own decision making. And part of the reason you're not where you want to be in your business, in your health, in your relationships, in your faith, in your personal development is because you keep trying to make decisions on your own, but your decision making is stained. Right. And so now you need to outsource. So I need you to outsource your decision making. That means you need to employ a coach, or you need to get into a community, or you need to seek wise counsel. You need to get with a therapist. Outsource your decision making, employ somebody you can trust, maybe somebody who's a possibility model, i.e., they've done what you've done and you trust that they know what they're talking about and they have a strategy and they have receipts for getting results. You outsource your decision making. You allow someone else to tell you what to do and to help you make decisions in your business, in your relationships, in your health, right? Then you then stack receipts now. You stack receipts. And that's how you get over limiting beliefs like I'm not enough or it's too hard. You allow someone to guide you through doing the thing so you can stack new receipts that are going to replace the old beliefs. You have to outsource your decision. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It takes so much weight off of you. It doesn't mean that it's going to be super easy though. But when I told my clients, like, hey, we doing live content every day for 30 days. I don't care about your insecurities. I don't care that you hate the sound of your voice. I don't care that you don't like the way you look on camera. I don't care that you have a lack mindset and you think nobody's going to buy from you. I don't care that you don't believe anybody wants to hear what you have to say. I done told you this is what we're about to do. You're sitting back in the dark waiting to feel confident. That is not the best way to accomplish any goal. If you're sitting in the dark waiting to feel confident, you are going to be waiting for a long time because confidence comes from evidence. And if you don't have anybody encouraging you to stack evidence, to counter argue the limiting beliefs that you've been telling yourself, you are going to delay the assignment and the win for a very long time. So some of you just simply need to outsource your decision making. You have not been able to be trusted with your own decision making. You thought it was safe to take your time. I'm going to give it another year. I'm going to go do a little more research. Boy, y'all don't research me to death. Let me just look into it. How much longer are you looking into it, Jesus? How much longer are you? Let me just study. Let me just see. No, it's time for action. So you need someone in your ear telling you to no, quit playing with this thing. Go turn the camera. Quit playing with this thing. Get back on the treadmill. Quit playing with this thing. Get back out there and start dating again. You just keep on like you so stained. You so stained that you can't even try again effectively. Or you have so many people tell you no before and they all told you no because they couldn't afford it. So what you do? I'm going to drop all the prices in my business and everything is just going to be almost free. I'm just going to make it because people can't afford. No, no, no. You go refine your offer and make the offer to the right person. Nobody can afford it. And so therefore I just quit. I'm either going to stop selling or I'm going to drop my price to the point that I don't can't even cover the cost of running a business. Your decision making is staying. So you need a coach that's going to tell you, no, that's not what we're doing. We're going to keep the price where it is. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you a sales process. I'm going to teach you a marketing strategy. I'm going to teach you how to position your offer so that it becomes irresistible, right? You so stained. Your decision making is poor. So you got to outsource it. You got to outsource that thing because you can't be trusted. So until you can stack receipts that can give you confidence, i.e., until you can stack evidence that's going to give you a different belief, you got to outsource it.
Pardon the interruption, but I have a few questions for you. Is your health holding you back from showing up as your personal best? Are you ready to thrive in the spotlight with vibrant health and confidence? Are you being called to tell your story, but you're not sure that you're qualified to do so? Are you a leader who's responsible for people, teams, and communities, but your health is more of a liability than it is an asset? Then keep listening. Since 2016, I've been facilitating our signature plant based coaching program, Farm to Table. And we just opened up enrollment for our next cohort starting February 12th. However, for the first time in Farm to Table history, we're doing something extremely special. I will be facilitating a special cohort of Farm to Table where we're going to be focusing on radical obedience. In this 12-week plant-based coaching program, you will learn directly from me how to optimize your health so that you can show up publicly and confidently the way you envision in your mind. If you have a voice, if you have a story to tell, if you feel you're being called to leadership, if you have a public facing role, if you have a personal brand that you're trying to establish, but you know that you need to optimize your health first, then this cohort of Farm to Table is for you. You may have heard me say this term radical obedience before, which I define as doing what we feel called to do despite the presence of fear and uncertainty. And in this edition, this special edition of Farm to Table that will be taking place from February 12th to April 30th, I specifically want to work with individuals who already have a personal brand, who are trying to establish a personal brand, who have maybe a public facing role, who has to use their voice, who needs to tell their story, who wants to speak, who wants to teach, who has an assignment that they need to use their health in order to execute on. I want to work with you if you have weight issues, if you have chronic health challenges, if you have issues with energy, fatigue, sleep, eating habits, and you know that those things are directly impacting how you're currently showing up in the world, you need to be in this cohort of Farm to Table with us on Wednesday evenings from February 12th to April 30th. Over the years, I've slowly become a public figure through my public platform, using my voice to teach, to speak, to coach, taking stages, and it has been one of the best times of my life. But the thing that has allowed me to do that well and consistently is the fact that I prioritize my health first. My public platform and my personal brand all started from the private work that I did on myself. And so if you need a coach in a community to assist you with that private work, to do the work that's necessary to optimize your health so that you can feel your best, so that you can feel confident, and so that you can show up on assignment, then this cohort of Farm to Table is for you. I want to invite you to click the link in the show notes to register for our fast approaching cohort of Farm to Table that's starting on February 12th, and join us and get the assistance, the guidance that you need, the nutrition science, the exercise science, but most importantly, the personal development work that you need to do in order to show up as your best self in the public light. Click the link in the show notes. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Now back to the show.
Y'all be researching y'all lives away. I'm like, R&D is out of control. Y'all be researching. Let me see, let me see. Like, no, come eat these plants. How much longer you need to research whether or not a plant-based diet? Come see. You know, I've been in challenges before where the host, would just tell you, vegan challenge, whatever, is whatever. But one of the things I do with our challenge is we got a protocol. Because here's what I don't need. I don't need any confusion. You come into our 30-day vegan challenge, download the protocol. Here's a list of everything that is and ain't allowed. And I'm going to tell you what to do. Lisa, is it okay if I can use? And I'm going to tell you, when people ask us questions, I don't say stuff like, can I eat this? Can I eat that? When they ask us that, I don't say stuff like, well, if blah, maybe if you could, maybe if you do better, or if your situation is, I'd be like, no, no, you can't eat that. No, it's that simple. Maybe if I get the unsalted with this, no, we can't have that. You want to know why? Because you outsource your decision making to me. You decided to join the challenge. You couldn't be trusted to lose the weight on your own. It's okay. You just needed a little assistance. I got a coach when I lost my 65 pounds. We all need the help. But I can't trust you. I can't say ambiguous things like you can have a little bit. I can't say ambiguous crap like moderation. Like what? That's not even a real number. Moderation is a fairy tale. Moderation belongs in Disneyland. That's not even a real place. So when you decide to employ me as your coach in this 30-day vegan challenge, when you decide to employ me as your coach in our business accelerator, when you decide to employ me as your coach in our clarity, our personal development mastermind, you can ask all of our clients. My answers are always black or white. There is no gray area. You know why? Because I can't trust you to go out here and make your decisions. I can't leave any gray area for you to try and make decisions on your own. I was teaching my students in our mastermind the other day, and one of our students, she's trying to build her company, and she wants to start teaching master classes to tell people about her business and what she offers. And I was like, okay, well, here's what I need for you next week. I need the title of your first masterclass. I need a description. I need the date. I need the time. And here's what I need you to write out. Also, I need you to tell me this. It wasn't, okay, go create that. I told her exactly, black and white, what I need. Why? Because she can't be trusted with her own decision making. You want to know why? Because I already know she still has self-confidence issues. She's still a little insecure about showing up publicly. So I have to make the decision for her. I have to push her forward. Some of you need to outsource, stop making your own decisions. In that area of your life, find wise counsel until you can be trusted with your own decision making. It'll be wild for me as your health coach. You're trying to combat obesity. You're trying to combat stomach issues. You got unhealthy relationship with food, food addiction, sugar, salt, alcohol, whatever it is. And it will be wild for me as your coach that my coaching advice to you is everything in moderation. Do you know what everything in moderation means? That's literally me giving you permission to make your own decisions about when and when you can eat crap. That's not a decision. But those of y'all who still believe everything in moderation is a healthy approach to your health goals, it's not. It's not even a real decision. Everything in moderation means just when I feel like it. Like, and I get to just call it moderation. That's crazy, right? Oh, be not big. You said I still be listening to the podcast. Don't play with me. Thank you for listening. And so I need you guys to understand, like, if you're not where you want to be, I want you to call and question your decision making. And there's two things I want you to do. Number one, if you have something happen that doesn't turn out the way you want it to, right? You get rejected, something fails, something that doesn't go as planned. You know, you plan your first event, you don't get a bigger turnout as you want. You know, you start selling tickets to stuff and the tickets ain't selling. One of the like, I literally had this happen to so many people in my life where they do one event and they never do another one. They're just like, people didn't buy tickets, people didn't show up, this person let me down. I'm like, nah. The best thing you can do is plan the next event right away. Matter of fact, you should go into the first event with the date for the next event already set. And you tell the people that came to the first event, we'll be back here in 6 months. We'll be back here this same time next year or whatever it is. Like, it is so easy to say never again when you do something and it doesn't turn out the way you want to. So first thing you do to avoid a stain on your decision making is you move quickly with doing it again, no matter how it turned out the first time. And those of us who already have stained decision making, we need to be outsourcing our decision making to somebody we can trust so that our decision making won't continue to self sabotage our goals. Okay. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thank you for hopping on, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.
You tuned in today because, like me, you refuse to let your good become the enemy of your great. You're not settling for good health when optimal is well within reach. If you're ready to go from good to great, visit lisaangelsmith.com to learn more about our plant-based health coaching program, Farm to Table, and our plant-based business accelerator and coaching certification. But before you go, if you enjoyed what you heard today, please consider rating and reviewing this podcast. Until next time, remember, radical obedience is still undefeated. Stay obedient.